Well, the good news is we got going. Bad news is it's not a very good crop. Not really sure what it's going to run, but it won't be a ton. There's a lot of zeros and 3, 4, 5. There is some 35 to 55 in there. Hard to say exactly what she'll do, but this is really the only field that's ready. It's 160 acres on between that side and that side. And there's a lot of still some residual green, so Dad's just gonna pick around that himself. We've got the grain cart, we got the grain truck out there, so what he'll probably do is fill the grain cart, then fill the grain truck, then fill the grain cart again, and then he'll come and haul 2 loads to the bin right there. And he'll just keep on doing that. We didn't even bother calling any of the hired hands, which are like my uncle and Doug and Brody. It's not worth it to run one machine in low yields like this. So I'm going to go spray. I got to spray durum and canola, as in like right now. So I'm going to leave Dad to piddle around here. And I'm going to go south and I'm going to piddle around there, which are a lot better looking crops. And we'll just call it a soft start. He can play around today with his combine. Whatever he doesn't get done tonight, maybe he'll take out mine, take it for a rip, make sure everything's running right, get all the settings right, kind of thing. And then at least we've got that, all the tinkering and awkward stuff out of the way too. So in the meantime, I need to get some water and get the hell out of here. Well, of course I get down here, start spraying. And I forget to frickin' film. Not that you guys really missed anything. It probably would have been me bitching about how much I hate trampling canola and how much you really got to focus on it. The nice thing about this stuff, so I sprayed this. This is mine. And I sprayed that on the other side. Except for 5 acres. I just ran out just now. This is a lot better than a lot of times when you're spraying pre-harvest or desiccation, in that we did not spray fungicide on this. Probably should have. I don't know. We have yet to see any value on our farm to spraying for sclerotinia. Probably gonna piss some people off that I say that, but in the years, like, I've never experienced a bad year of sclerotinia. I also think that, you know, if it's going to be a bad year, you're probably going to see a bit of a ramp up to it. Like, we saw a few little spots here and there this year, but like last year was so damn dry, I couldn't see any sclerotinia happening. So obviously we didn't spray for it. And because last year, ooh, they're coming out thick in a hurry. Anyways, because last year was so dry, I had doubts that, ooh, mosquitoes are getting bad, that the spores would be out. So, you know, we kind of took a calculated risk and we said, no, we're not going to do it. And which is really nice, because with what I'm spraying now, you want to have perfect coverage. So I'm not forced to follow in old tracks and retramping or extending tramp. So that's kind of nice. But I've got 555 acres, or I guess it'd be 560 if I include this to spray tomorrow. And then I'll get into the durum as well, which is another 640 acres. I probably won't get it all. I definitely won't get it all done tomorrow, but I'm damn well gonna try. It's just that there's a lot of filling, and kind of being a one-man wrecking crew right now. So priorities: get the canola going, then we'll get into the durum. Anyways, the durum already has tracks from spraying fusarium for fusarium, so not nearly as fun. Well, Had my spike break off in the old Chem Manager. Not a big deal. You can see they were not very good welds there, but they still lasted like 20 years. So I'll just have to take it off next time I'm home, run it into my brother, get him to... Yeah, I can probably spool make that one. But yeah, we're smashing through some heat. We're actually supposed to get another like dozen of them delivered here shortly. But luckily I got the Chembine as a backup. Good day, everybody. I'm not really sure what day it is, to be honest. It is a Monday. It's the last Monday in August. That's about all I got for you. So we've done mostly 2 fields of Dad's. He had about a 15-acre chunk that we ended up with. Initially we were thinking it was too wet to seed, and then by the end we were able to get into it. But his first field was very poor, and his second field was probably almost twice as good and still not that great. So that gives you an idea of what's going on. We're out here on mine. This is the one that I was out doing variable rate in not all that long ago, probably 6 weeks, 8 weeks kind of thing. And honestly, I'm kind of surprised with it. You'll have to excuse it's got a delay on calculating the yield. It's about 8 to 10 seconds. But, you know, where there's peas, it's actually pretty good. Like, we're seeing steady 40 to 60. A couple spots have touched 65 to 70. But, and this is pretty close on calibration. Dad did measuring against the grain cart on this, and he said this one was 5% out, and his was 10% out. And I don't know if he did a calibration or not. He just kind of ballparked it. So, you know, at 60, that still means that I never asked him which way. I think he said high. But at 60, it's still coming in at 57. So that's a pretty solid number all day. Will the whole field average that? Not bloody likely. You can see there's a lot of those spots, especially you go over that way, there's a lot of nothing over there. Just streaks that got drowned out. And that's stuff that didn't get sprayed. Because, you know, why would you? So that's where I did my variable rate. Starting to see pretty good peas. Starting to see some more green though, which is kind of concerning. I don't know. I'll do another swipe here and see. You're allowed to have a little bit of green, but you don't want a lot. These are yellow peas, by the way. This might be a bad idea. So, they're noisy as all hell. But, yeah, I think just certain spots are having greens. I'm not sure what the contract, I think it was like 2% green is what you're allowed or something like that. So, yeah, it's 60 right now. Ooh, we're zoomed in. 60, and then it'll drop off to maybe like 4 or 5 right here, I bet. Just give it a few seconds. This little Yodi there, he ain't scared of me. I think he thinks he's getting fed. Falling down to pretty much nothing. 7 bushel. Run, run, run. You'll see him just run and all of a sudden just pick up a mouse. And he'll be well fed today. Just so we can have it filled up, I'll make a rip out there in the morning because peas are usually pretty tough. So the plan, as I say that, you're going to watch this just fall off to nothing because, well, as you can see, there really ain't anything there. In about 6 seconds, that'll start hit the ground. Probably all the way down to about 8. then it'll start coming back up. Oh, 5, 0. Yeah, it was pretty ugly there for a second. And in about 3, 2, 1, she starts coming back up. It's almost like I knew what I was doing there. So a quick overview of what's going on. Well, we put those duck feet paddles on. I think it was a really good move this year. It's the first. I put them on just for lentils. But most guys are saying you can just leave them on, which is pretty cool. Lentils are so bloody short, you end up with potentially a lot of header loss if you're not clearing your knife off. And we tried to do them alternating positions, but there are a few positions where you can't get them. And this is also a 5-bat reel, so you can't really truly offset. At some point you get 2 that are in line, but it's about the best you're gonna do. Super easy to put them on, pretty much just as easy to take them off. I was initially thinking that we'd have to be carrying like a Rubbermaid tote with us to take them off, but everybody says just leave them on, so that's what we're gonna do. But I'm really happy that I put them on this year. Like I said, initially it was just for lentils, but these peas have some disease to them, so they've laid down pretty good. Last year, I've never seen peas stand up so well as they did last year. Not sure if I pointed out, but we have the Contour Buddies off. The 2 in the middle are off, and the outer ones are out of the way. We were told you could lift them just all the way up. I didn't really like the way they were running there, and so we took that one off. And I also drilled another hole just to lift it up out of the way, just so it's not, getting rubbed down by dirt or dinged up by stones. That guy folds into a transport position for when you have this in a trailer, and the slow speed transport, just so that you don't bend it with the hitch. But yeah, so we're in true float mode right now. Float and flex, I guess. So you can tell I'm floating based on this guy. Probably a prick to see with the shadow going across it right now. But it dances around. So when it hits 0, that is all the weight is on the feeder housing. When it hits 4, you've pushed all the way through your springs. And so what it does is it floats with the ground, and it has some give and the cable, behind the cable is a sensor for it that tells the auto height what to do. It knows that it's in float mode, and it does its thing. You can see it kind of wiggles back and forth a little here, there. So it will tilt both ways, and it'll float a bit. So that is float mode. And then flex mode is when you have the wings unhinged, which they both are. They walk a bit separate from the center frame. This is a horrible field to show you the example because she flat. This is my flattest field. Dad's flattest field is over there. This stuff over here is a close second. It's good land here. If I owned it, it would be tiled. It still might get tiled. It's just a lot of regulation around tiling in these areas. You don't want to piss off the neighbors or do something illegal. You invest a whole bunch of money into it, and then you can't use it. That's no good. So this is definitely future something to consider. If we go, I see tile as a big part of our future. I'm I'm hoping to get to the point where I can do it myself. So I've been reading up on it and studying a lot, and kind of hoping I can find some sort of course to go to. That would be fantastic, because I would love to do, you know, maybe do a half section every year, every fall. Just go out there and smash a half section in. What, you know, a couple of our fields, I don't even think you need full grid drainage, but you probably would. I know some of my fields, if I was just to do selective drainage and link a bunch of the potholes together, boy, I would gain a lot. So that's stuff I'm kind of looking at and trying to get a familiarity with. So, morning, August 30th, last day of August, and we're, it's tough, taking the first load of peas, first load of grain. We've only harvested peas to the market already. I already have it contracted. I have 90 ton. I usually get about 30 and a half on the truck, so 3 loads straight to Weyburn, straight out of the field. Haven't even touched the bin. I'm probably gonna haul all of what comes off of this straight. Well, not straight, there's some going in the bin, but I'll probably start hauling 1 or 2 loads a day for the next few days here. So the old semi's warming up. Putting some fuel in the combines. It got, despite being windy yesterday, at dark, or just before dark, the wind died off, and peas, especially if they're laying flat, which you can see these are, they'll get tough. The closer they are to the ground, the more moisture they draw in. And peas, it's very rare. Last year we had a couple of days, but they were standing up so well. But it's very rare that you're able to go at night with peas. It's got to be warm and it's got to be dry. Well, when the wind dies off, it tends to draw in moisture and they get tough. So we shut down. I shut down probably 15 minutes before Dad. I was having trouble with things wrapping on the pea auger. I don't know if his is a little different or if I need to do some tuning on mine, because it was always in the same spot. So I'll take a look at that when I get back. It's supposed to be hot today. 28, 29 kind of thing. So we had a little bit of trouble yesterday on both machines with the exact same problem, and it ended up being a really simple problem, but the rethrasher kept plugging up. And I guess I'll show you on this side. That's this guy under the plastic guard. It takes your first, like everything that comes off the sieves or through the sieves, drops down, and it gets actually dropped back onto the sieves, onto the pre-clean, and sent through again. When you're doing peas, there's really not much that goes through there, and the problem was that it was pretty much just kochia. And it was funny because it wasn't even that bad a kochia. Took us 2 or 3 times troubleshooting, and I finally stuck my hand in, and it's like, it's a box. It's this thing. I can't really see. It's like a 6-inch by 6-inch square that feeds it back and it drops it down. Well, I stuck my hand into Dad's and it was plugged completely off. And when he was fixing his, I went out and did a lap, and mine, like Dad would get maybe 100 yards and it would plug up. I think I did 300 yards and it plugged up a bit. And I'm like, oh, that's strange. And we just had build up. So there was a couple mornings or evenings where it was a bit tougher, and we figure it must have just built up there. We chipped it off. They were running great yesterday. And we're off. Okay. Weyburn Inland Terminal, P&H. At one point, I believe this was like one of the biggest terminals in Western Canada. Inland terminal, at least. They got their fertilizer shed over there. I used to build those. Yeah, this is it. Gonna pull up, get a sample, and then pull up again and unload. Not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of this location. It is nice because they have big pits here. You can just flog it in there. But, you know, to have to get out, take a sample, to come here and get out, like they should have moved that office right here. Could have been a lot better. Hate dealing with these. I tell you, if I had a conveyor, it'd be a different story. But doing these with this setup, it always sounds like you're going to rattle the auger apart. But that is a sign that they're good and dry. Well, that's a disappointment. 25 bushel an acre. My worst peas ever by a long shot. To be fair, and to be honest, I was expecting about 20. I was hoping for about 30. So, you know, the optimist in me saying 30, the pessimist saying 20, and the realist, which is usually where I am, was saying 25. So, in reality, we got 25. That sucks. Gonna have to see what my yield is, my yield guarantee, because I ought to be close to getting a little bit. So I might be in a place for a claim, which you don't farm for insurance, you farm for big yield. So yeah, that's a disappointment. We'll see what the lentils look like, but after that, everything else kind of looks a lot better. You look out there, kind of looks like it should have been something good. There's a lot of 50-60 in there, but let's strip down the middle. There's actually two strips, a big chunk on the west side of the yard there, all zero, like absolutely nothing. There's a little bit of a run here that didn't do much either. So, well, we'll get the corners of the grain trucks cleaned out. Here goes. I'll haul that tomorrow. We'll figure out what's ready next.